All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Next Question with Vinnie and Jenilee, episode number 24. Sorry we're running behind. Busy day today, Jay.
It was a busy day.
Dude, I left my house at 9 a.m. I just got here.
Yeah.
10 minutes ago. So what time was it? 8:30 I got here.
8:30, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good day.
It is a good day.
It's a good day of training some dogs, man. So I'm going to tell you what, we're going to get rocking and rolling. Before you ask any questions, I need to cleanse my palate with a little bit of Wasser drinking.
My mouth is spicy. That sausage is spicy.
Woo! We had breakfast for dinner tonight. God bless it. Home run. Home freaking run. All right, Jay, let's get this rocking. Let's get this rolling. Hit me with it.
Okay, how do I stop my dog from jumping on people when they come in the door? She's excited when she does it, but it drives me and my guests crazy.
So number one, stop acknowledging your dog when you guys come into the house. I can't stress this enough. When you guys walk in, no one should pet your dog for 5 minutes. There's just no reason for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because if you acknowledge the dog and they jump up on you, you're acknowledging you're not just rewarding the action, you're rewarding the state of mind. So if my dog is super wound up and crazy, but they're not jumping, and I go, oh, good job. Well, I'm rewarding a terrible state of mind. So just walk right by them, go right to the table. This is a good chance to use a leash when your guest comes over, but this is why you practice place work. You want to put your dog in a position that they could succeed, and you practice a lot of place for this. If needed, you could eventually add in a correction, but not until our dog understands what's expected. Next question.
How do I get my dog to stay in a down position? She lays down, then jumps up the second after she lays down.
So this is a great question. And a lot of dogs do this levitating elbow bullshit where when they go down to the ground, they pop right back up because my elbows touch the ground and I can't stay. Right. So I want my dog to get comfortable going the whole way down and staying down. Now, I would teach this on a place bed, a dog bed, on a carpet, something that the dog will actually get. And when I say carpet, it's got to be the fluffy carpet, not like a little rug. But teach it on your dog bed. You're going to put your dog in sit. You're going to put him in a down. You're going to use the leash. And we talked about this last time. So if there's a little slack in the leash and you say down and your dog doesn't go down, you could step lightly on that leash that pulls them down and go, oh shit, okay, I know. Only if they know down and they're being disobedient. Your dog's in a down, you're going to give him a treat. You're going to stand straight up, but you're not going to walk away from him. The second that he pops back up, nope, down. You're going to give him a chance to recorrect himself. If he doesn't, I step on the leash again, and I would use my training collar for this. So he gets pulled back down, and he goes, oh shit, I did that wrong. The second he goes down, good. Make him wait 3-5 seconds, give him a treat. Stay right there. Wait 5 seconds, give him a treat. Wait 5 seconds, give him a treat, free. And we would continue to do this. Now, Courtney, one thing I would suggest is I know that you're doing place with the sit. From now on, scrap it. Every place is done with just the down. Next question.
Okay, my 1-year-old Beagle Shepherd mix.
Dude, I'm gonna drink this. I'm gonna drink this V8 energy drink, which is, God, honestly, the last thing I need. But there's not much in Jenilee's refrigerator. It looks like a crack house right now. So,
haven't gone to the store.
All right, Jay. All right.
Okay, my 1-year-old Beagle Shepherd mix Zoe has developed some resource guarding food aggression behavior around other dogs. We are currently living with friends temporarily who have a very passive and friendly 3-year-old dog. The dogs play a lot and get along, but feeding time has become quite the frenzy. Zoe will stay in a place while the other dog eats. When it's her turn to eat, we will have to be mindful of where everyone is in the room. Other dogs in a place or stay, which we try to do if possible. On a recent night, the other dogs came into her pathway between me holding the food and her crate where we feed her. She snapped her mouth at him, not biting him, but definitely telling him to back off. We are concerned this behavior will grow.
So they're feeding her near the crate, but they're not feeding her inside of the crate. So
no, they feed her in the crate. Holding.
On a recent night, the other dog came into the pathway between me holding the food and her crate where we feed her. So here's the thing is she needs to be locked in the crate, right? So if she's snapping, that means she has the ability to come out. What you're going to do is you're going to put your dog in the kennel, you're going to feed your dog, and you're not going to take your dog out until all the other dogs are done eating. You could put your dog in the kennel first. I really don't care which order you feed your dog, whether it's first or last. It's not going to make the biggest difference in the world. What's going to make the difference is you don't put your dog in a position to go after or have somebody come into her space while she's eating. Right? Now, this seems like a Band-Aid, but it's a phenomenal Band-Aid. Right? So I put my dog in the kennel. They kennel up. I lock the door. I feed the other dogs. I feed my dog. The other dogs are done eating. I pick up their bowls. I put them away. My dog's not eating, I pick up her bowl. I can put my dog on leash to walk her out of the kennel so I can take her away from what would ever be like the food resource area. Because sometimes there could be a little remnants that could cause this problem. So immediately remove your dog from that specific area and you know, that's all it's going to take. You could also keep your dog in the crate for an extra 15, 20 minutes after you're done feeding as well. Great question. Next question.
My 4-month-old.
I'm not helping you. Figure it out.
Come on.
What? Say it.
Rhodzina?
You said it right. Say it one more time louder.
Rhodzina? Boxer? What is it? What is it?
Rhodesian, Jenilee! It's Rhodesian!
Okay, add that one to the list of dog names I can't do. Will not listen. He mouths and bites.
He doesn't listen because he thinks he's Rhodesian.
Okay, he mouths and bites everything. Bites our pant legs.
Yep.
You can't even pet him.
Yep.
What do? I exercise him, and using your instructions, he walks beautifully.
Good.
He has his sit, stay, and down commands. It's the constant biting. Yes, he has bones, etc.
All right, so you have two options here, guys. If your dog is constantly biting you, that means you're not doing enough mental engagement, right? So if my dog nips me every now and again, okay, but now my dog's constantly biting me. So it's a learned behavior from boredom. This is where this starts. The problem is that you have two high energy dogs. So we have a high energy dog who requires a shit ton of training. Cool. Now you're doing the walks, which is great. But my question is, once you come back into the house, why are you taking the leash and collar off? Especially if he's healing well with a training collar on, you come back into the house. I sit down at my couch. I leave him. He can drag his little leash around. He comes to me to bite me. What do I tell him?
Nope.
Perfect. Guess what he's going to continue to do? Bite. I'm going to pop the prong hard and then put him into a sit, and he's going to go, holy God. But you can only do that if my dog understands how the prong collar works, if he understands how the training collar works. So if he does, that's how you would go through that. Now, if he doesn't, that means we got to do more work on our leash walks, but it sounds like you got that under control. So that's how I would go about it. Use the leash to your advantage in the house. Next question.
How do you get a 1-year-old lab to slow down after playing fetch when bringing it back to you? He will run fast and smack into the furniture, or if he's outside, he will run fast and jump on my kids.
All right, so here's the thing. You're playing fetch. The dog's running back because he's excited. He's a 1-year-old dog. He's super jazzed up. Do I want to correct him so much that my dog hates playing fetch? No, not really. I just got to slowly implement some rules, right? So what are the rules I would implement? Number one, get 2 or 3 balls. So if I throw a ball and I bring out another ball when the dog comes back and I squeak it, he goes, holy shit, she's got another ball. And sometimes they just come and they start vibrating. You chuck that ball, blah, they spit the one out and they go for it. I got my 3rd ball, now I pick this one up, the dog runs back, squeak, squeak, squeak. Oh my God, he's got another ball. And we play, and the dog continues to play this little game of roller coaster, which is phenomenal. Now, if that's not working, keep your dog on a 15-foot leash and only play fetch 15 feet. My dog tries to go to pull on my kids. I guide her back. But every time I get my dog's ball back, she has to go into a sit before I throw the next one. This way he has to pay attention, slow him down just that half second. So when I say chuck the second ball, he comes back, squeak, 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 sit. Good. Chuck it. The next time, good. Chuck it. And I continue to go through the same exact thing. Next question. That's a great question. Next question. Little impulse control. And actually, making your dog wait for everything is I know, I do this all the time. Making your dog wait to go out the door. Making your dog wait to eat food. Making your dog wait to meet a person. Making your dog wait to meet anything or do anything is so important. And guys, it's the small things that make the biggest freaking difference in the world. I cannot stress this enough. If you start to implement a lot of structure over the small things in life, your dog will be better everywhere. Next question.
The pup stayed over at Grandma's for a night while we were away, and Grandma reported back they were wild, jumping on her couches, jumping on her, not listening to commands. They have stayed over Grandma's before with no issue. They visit with her and Grandpa weekly, but she said shortly after we left, the madness began. What's the best way to ensure my pups are minding their manners while I'm not right there giving commands, having them on leash or correcting the bad behavior?
So you can't do anything in this situation, right? So at this point, when you drop your dog off, it's up to the people to make sure the dog's going to be well behaved. So here's the thing. you dropping your dog off with your parents. I don't know how old your parents are. If they're not mobile and your dogs are acting crazy, well, you have 3 dogs, they're going to act crazy, right? I mean, that's just part of the process. You have 3 dogs who aren't getting any exercise because someone's not mobile. If they're mobile, then crate 1 or crate 2 and exercise 1 and rotate, and then till we're ready, and then we bring them all out. But you can't expect your dogs to be well behaved when you drop them off with somebody who isn't enforcing every rule like you are. Right. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It doesn't matter how well behaved your dog is. Your dog is a product of the environment that they're in. They're not going to be the same everywhere if you're not around or someone's not around to force the rule. Now, here's the easiest way to explain that. I can take my dog. I'll take Xena, for instance, who's, she's awesome. She's tremendous. She listens to everything. And I could give her to Jenilee for a week or 2. And she'll come back and she probably won't know how to sit anymore.
That's not true, you guys. He's going to knock me right off this chair.
Shit.
That's awful.
That's a bad joke.
I follow the rules, you guys.
She does. What's the size baseball bat you use with her? 32 inch, 36 ounce?
I use it on you, not her.
Damn, son.
Oh.
Whack, whack, whack. Next question. Just so you know, people were laughing about the Rhodesian thing. I forgot to tell you about that.
Add that one to the list. Okay, my friends, Golden,
yes, ma'am,
humps anyone who comes into their house, even my daughter. Mm-hmm. They say to just knee him in the chest to get him off. Okay. Anything else I can do as the guest of their home to make things less awkward?
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that I'm extremely uncomfortable with it, and I'd probably give him a Say It Once dog training business card. So this is another weird question, and it's a great question, but it's a weird one to answer because it's not your dog.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, what are you going to do? Is there anything that you could do to make it easier? Go sit at a table and tuck your chair in like this so the dog can't actually hump you is something that you could do. The other thing that you could do is realistically, if it was your dog, the dog is on leash and he's on a prong collar. And if he jumps up to try to hump, I just tell him no and correct him and say, hey, listen, that's not acceptable. There's no way. But here's the other thing. If I walk into the house and go, oh my God, and the dog goes nuts, it's like, oh, dude, I deserve to get humped. Right at that point, I'm the one who's feeding into the problem. So you gotta make sure your energy's managing the situation too. The other thing they should be practicing is, once again, stay. You guys see how important. There's a few things that are extremely important. If your dog has good leash skills, a good stay command, place command, kennel command, what have you, you can get a lot done with just those 2 things. There's so much, because you can always use a leash in your house and you can always use place in your house. Right? Now, recall is the most important one on the outside, but on the inside, those 2 are so freaking important. So if you're going to practice anything, spend all your time practicing those 2 particular things. Give her a business card. Next question.
What do you recommend as a high-value treat for training? How far in advance do you... Oh, that's the first question.
What do you recommend? So this is a great, phenomenal question, Jay. What do you recommend as a high-value treat? Whatever your dog perceives as high-value treat. Some dogs, I worked with 4 labs at my last house, and the one lab, he would work for food, his kibble, the way that some dogs would work for steak. He was like, dude, this is the greatest thing ever. I'm getting kibble. It's great. So if kibble's high value, I'm going to use kibble. If kibble's not high value enough and my dog doesn't like his dog food all that much, I'll use something else. Zooks are a great little... Excuse me, Jay. Dude, every time. These things have whatever it is, carbonation.
Bad crap in them.
Yeah. So Zooks are tremendous, right? Another thing you could use is then freeze-dried chicken liver, which I love that, right? And then a step up from my highest value food that I use is turkey heart, freeze-dried turkey hearts. They're great. They're disgusting, and if you break them, like juices fall out of them. But the dogs love them, and that's all that matters. They actually taste pretty good. So
I might have messed that up. She wrote high
value. Well, high volume treat? I think she meant high value.
Okay, I think so too.
Yeah.
Okay. How far in advance?
High volume treat would be their kibble, if you're going to use a shit ton of it. By the way, just so you guys know, cut back. You're probably feeding your dogs too much. I think that too many people overfeed their dog, and their dogs are just a little heavy. Not a lot of them aren't like obese or huge, but they should be slim. Dogs should not be like this. It should be like this, like a little hourglass. And I really like seeing that hourglass figure. Next question.
How far in advance do you need to schedule training?
I guess it depends. If you can do during the weekday, then we can get in sooner. If your dog is aggressive. So we have a few trainers in our program, right? But the dogs that are like human aggressive are the dogs that only I'm going to see, and say that there's 100 people with a human aggressive dog and only 5 people with a non-human aggressive dog, then obviously non-aggressive dogs get seen a little quicker if if that's the case. But if it's weekday, I mean, we have openings during the weekday frequently. So that's not a problem.
What's the best way to say no when potty training?
I would start with N and I would end with O. No.
I can't. I've been waiting for this question because I knew you were going to do some dumb shit.
Jay, you swore.
Sorry. I thought the S word was allowed.
No. No swear
Sorry,
words.
guys.
But no, what's the best way to say no when potty training? I don't know. I mean, I would probably do it in German. Nein! Here's the thing. Your dog is matching hair. No. No.
I put mine up first.
Hold on. 5 out of 10 hair? 10 out of 10 hair. 5 out of 10? 10
Straight
out of 10.
and gorgeous, hot mess.
Yeah, exactly. Hot mess. So anyways, back to the point about the saying no. So say your dog pees in the house and it happened more than 3 seconds ago. It doesn't matter. If your dog peed and it's over with, who cares? If your dog's peeing, oh, just to startle, they're like, oh shit, pick them up, let's go outside. They pee outside, yes, treat. Come back in, clean it up. Don't freak out. It's not that big of a deal. Move on. Next question. I'm just reading comments.
Is there a way to take advantage of dogs' natural intuition of hunting and use it to help with training?
Yeah, man, this is a great question. Who asked this question?
AJ Wallace Myers.
Is there a way to take advantage of natural dog's intuition of hunting and use it with training? It just depends. So what are your dog's instincts? You can use instincts to your advantage, right? So, and I guess it just depends on what we're trying to do. A lot of dogs who have extremely high prey drive, you can switch this into tug and toy drive, right? So you can then get a tug toy or a ball. A lot of ball, you can just switch to a ball because you can throw a ball and the dog picks up on it really quickly, and you use that as your reward instead of food. There are a lot of working dogs who would rather work for their tug toy or their ball than they would work for steak, because for them it's like obsession. You can actually see a lot of those dogs here, not a lot, but we see dogs like that here who ball is life or tug toy is life. You just have to figure out, how do I get the reward quicker? The problem with a ball is your dog has to have a really good drop it command. So if you're going to do a toy like a ball for training and my dog sucks at drop it, it slows down your reps. The good thing about kibble or treats is boom, boom, boom. It takes a half a second, it's done. The good thing about a tug toy is the dog is engaging with me. So say my dog does something right and I pick out a tug toy and we play a game, he's playing the game with me. So it makes it almost more fulfilling for him to be engaged with me, which is awesome. Is there a way to take advantage of a dog's natural... I don't know if that even answered the full question. That would just be the way that I would answer it. Is there a way to take advantage of a dog's natural intuition of hunting and use it to help with training? You switch that prey drive into ball and tug drive. That's the easiest way to answer that. Now, say I'm on a walk and my dog has an extremely high prey drive. Well, at that point, it doesn't matter what you have, because he would rather catch the rabbit. He would rather catch the squirrel than he wants your squeak toy or your tug toy. And this is where the whole positive only shtick falls out. If my dog wants something more than what I have, and I have to increase the value of my food till eventually there's no high value enough, there has to be a consequence. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So if I have a dog whose prey drive is so high that nothing I give him matters, he'd rather chase the squirrel and kill the squirrel, well, then I got to add in some pressure to his life. And that's where you would use a training collar and a leash, and you would practice with a lot of distance in between and close the distance. Next question.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this might be dumb. So what if you're playing fetch with your dog and your dog always drops it 5 feet away from you?
You got to pick it up and they...
No, they just bark at you until you go over there and pick it up. So is there a way, do you just walk over every time and pick it up and throw it and call it a day? Or is there a way to get them to actually...
Bring it the whole way to you?
Yes.
You already know the answer. How do you get them to bring it the whole way to you?
Put him on a leash.
A long line, right? So I put him on a long line and he starts coming and I'll make him come to me. Even if he drops the ball, that's fine.
Right.
I'll bring him to me. Fetch. He runs the 5 feet and drops it again. I'll pull him back to me when I say come, and eventually he's going to bring it back to me. But when he does, good boy! I give him a lot of excitement. Maybe I give him a cookie or two and I throw the ball again. But make him come the whole way back. If that's annoying you, is it the end of the world that your dog does that? No, but he's demanding something from you, which is kind of a pain in the ass. But that's the way I would look at it. Next question.
My dogs will be 4 in April.
Awesome.
Are they too old to
No.
teach new things? They really need to learn not to beg or take food from people unless instructed.
All right, so remember, guys, there is no such thing as a dog who is too old for training. I cannot stress that line enough. The problem and the bigger issue is what? The problem is that human beings are so stubborn that we hate breaking our habits. Your habits, your environment create the dog behavior. So if you're willing to change, your dog's going to change. It's that simple. If you're not willing to change, dog's not going to change. It's that simple. I wouldn't even train him. So if you're willing to do it, then we're going to be in absolute business. And then make sure that no one's ever given these dogs human food, and crate your dogs when you feed them or when you're eating, so they're nowhere near around you, or put them in place. But they're not, if they don't know place yet, you would need to use a crate. Next question.
Lulu, one of your clients, runs around my house looking out the windows, barking at squirrels and deer. We have many of both. I have lowered the shades facing my backyard. I tried, to distract her with commands and treats, but she only wants to run around barking from window to window. It drives us crazy. So
that's a great question. So Laura, one thing that I would suggest is, how do I stop my dog from getting to the point where they get to the window to bark?
Leash.
So yeah, you could use a leash 100%. And it depends how your house is set up, right? So if my house is set up like two halves, and the front half is where the living room is and where the dog looks out, but we hang out in the TV room, don't even let your dogs get up there. Put gates up. They don't need to be over there. If the bigger issue is the fact that my dog's just running and barking and we're hanging out in that specific area, put a leash on. I go grab them. Nope, you come back this way. The issue with trying to distract with food is you do this a lot. You go, hey, come here, take this. And the dog looks at you and goes, I'd rather bark. And they bark. So then I have a conversation. Stop having a conversation. Grab the leash, get your ass over here, and let's do this thing right now. If you do it well, I'll eventually pay you for it. But if you don't, well, we're going to continue to do it until you get the point. That brings me to another really good point. If I hear one more person go, can you sit?
I don't know, can you?
Can you sit? Thank you. And it's not thank you, and it's not can you. Sit down. Good. And it's not sit down. I was just agitated. Yeah. It's sit. Good. Down. Good. Or yes, if we're using a marker. But yeah, please don't ask your dog any questions. It's absolutely insane. Next question.
Okay, have a 7-month miniature Aussie mix.
One more thing. Sorry. One more thing. Oh
Drink
my
your
goodness.
Water.
It's gone. Wow. I was only 2 and I drank both already. So another thing. We were just talking about asking your dog questions and thank you. Your dog grumbles at you. Not growls, like makes a noise. Stop talking back. They don't speak English. Right? So sometimes we go, what do you want? No. Go lay down. You're fine.
All of our husky owners do that.
They do that. And it's like, well, stop talking to your dog. He's not a human being. Treat him like a dog. Next question.
Okay, have a 7-month miniature Aussie mix.
Yes, ma'am.
Got her at the Pet Adoption League at 6 months. How do I train her to go up and down stairs? She is afraid of everything. Okay, great question. So, Janice, 2 things you're going to focus on. Number 1 is get the steps kind of out of your brain, right? Well, I'll teach you how to get the dog to go up and down steps. That's super easy. But the bigger question is, if my dog is afraid of everything, how do I fix it? Well, I fix it by getting my dog to do things, rewarding them when they do said things, and that builds confidence. Once again, you guys go to work, you do a good job, somebody comes up, hey, you did a great job today. You go, son of a bitch, I did a great job. I feel really, really good. Hey, you just cussed.
I'm allowed.
Rules, you guys.
But that's the thing is, okay, I have to do a lot of training with this dog to build his confidence. The easiest way to build your dog's confidence is through obedience training and leash walking and engagement where your dog's doing something great. The other thing about fearful dogs is hunger is your greatest asset. So I want to make this dog hungry so he wants to do things for food. If he's not hungry and he's not motivated by food, then I can never get him to do anything because he just shuts down all the time. To get your dog to go up and down the steps, pick him up, put him up 2 steps, keep the leash on him, walk him down the 2 steps. He might put up a little bit of a fight for the first 5 seconds, like, oh God, oh, I made it, good. Give him a treat. Put him up 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps, 6 steps, and continue to go up steps until my dog feels so confident with the fact that he can go down the steps. Then eventually we'll do the same thing from the top of the steps. Put him up 1 step. Hey, come on up. Good boy. 2 steps. It's easier to go down than it is to go up. Next question.
Okay, I have an 11-week-old pitty puppy who is having trouble going to the bathroom outside. He'll pee, but he will not poop. He is also very mouthy and tries to chew on me all the time. He's not chewing furniture, but his puppy teeth hurt. How do I control this? I've tried offering chew toys as a distraction, but he always comes back to my fingers and toes. He has bones, toys, kings, Is there anything else we can use?
Yeah, man. So this is really, guys, this is a really, really important question. And I'm going to answer this one in a long answer. There's 4 things that you guys have to really pay attention to when you have an 11-week-old dog who's nipping. The first thing is that your dog has a lot of energy and you need to start to put it into productive use at an early age. When my dog gets super excited and my 11-week-old puppy starts to nip me and I continue to try to trade for things, it's going to fail eventually and he's going to continue to nip you. So what do I need to do? Use the energy for productive obedience training. Use the energy for productive any sort of training, right? So I could do some sit, some down, some spin, some place, some kennel, some whatever, but get up and do something with him. Don't sit down and don't get upset. Now, if you're ever on the floor and your dog nips you, take a baseball bat and whack yourself in the head for being on the floor with your dog. Don't play with him like a dog and expect him not to treat you like another dog. If you're sitting at the table and he starts to nip you, well, before he comes up, get out some kibble and start to go to work. Start to train your dog. After a training session, guess where he goes?
Kennel, crate.
Crate, that's right. He goes into his crate for half an hour because I need to buy myself some time. I bring him out of the crate. I need to do some training with him. 11-week-old dogs who really can't take him for a long, long walk in the weather unless it's like it's going to be 40 degrees tomorrow, then I can go for a nice little walk. 15, 20-minute walk, come back, do some training, put him back into the kennel. Start to use the kennel. Even though he's been in there all night and he's been there all day while you work, you can still give him 2 or 3 naps every evening, and that's fine. But he needs that time away from you too, because you're going to drive yourself absolutely insane. So you can just put the energy into productive use through leash walking, through obedience training, through a toy or a ball or anything like that. Or finally, eventually you can add in a consequence or a correction. Next question.
How do you get a dog off the treats? Because I have a hound with a great nose and only will calm down, sit, wait, and other cues when there's a treat in my hand.
So you're going to move to what's called a variable reward system. Never train your dog with food in your hand.
Pocket.
Food's in your pocket. Because if the food is out, that's a huge time problem. So you want the food in your pocket, right? So then as my dog becomes really good at training and he gets something and he's really proficient in it, then I move to the variable reward system where I reward 2 out of 3 reps, then 2 out of 4 reps, 2 out of 5 reps, 1 out of 5 reps. If I give my dog the same reward for something he does every single time, guess what? You'll start to unteach the behavior. It's the easiest way to get a dog to stop learning something is to reward the same damn thing every single time. You want to keep them guessing. So, okay, when am I getting the food? When am I getting the food? When am I? Yes! Boom! And I continue to go. So don't train with food in your hand. Variable reward system. Next question.
I just started muzzle training my dog with a Baskerville Ultra.
Yep, good. It's good muzzle.
Ultra muzzle. Mm-hmm. I watch your YouTube video 4 times. I am following the video 100%. We are in the first phase of him coming up and putting his snout in the muzzle.
Good.
He's doing great. The only thing is when he takes his snout out, he tries to grab the muzzle out of my hand. What can I do to make him stop from trying to grab the muzzle?
Okay, so this is great. You're doing a really good job, guys. So what I want to make sure is when you're doing the training, and I think I explained this in the video too, make sure you have that leash on too so you can control your dog's movement and his head as well. So make sure you're holding that leash, and if he tries to grab it, you can just move him away with the leash and say, hey, leave it. But on the separate sessions, we also have to practice the leave it command. So I could take that same leash again, take that same muzzle, I put the muzzle onto the floor, he tries to eat it, leave it, he continues to go, a little leash pop, and he goes, okay, what the hell did I do wrong? He sits down, good boy, bud, here's a cookie. And we do the same thing. We go through this process over and over and over until eventually my dog's in business. Now, here's the other thing. You can practice leave it with almost anything that you want. The other thing is, as soon as your dog gets his head out, put him immediately into a sit. If you don't give him something else to do, he's going to try to grab something. So put him right back into a sit. Okay, what do you want? Muzzle. Good. He backed his head out. Sit. Okay. Boom. Reward the sit right away and continue. Next question.
What to do when your 2 dogs fight? I got a second dog in mid-November. My older reactive dog has been great with her. Mm-hmm. Recently, one night they got into a huge snarling match, no bites. The next morning, my older dog snapped at her again and cut her face. How do I make sure they rebond, and how do I relax and just let them be together again?
All right, so there's 2 parts to this question. What do you do when your dogs fight, and how do we not let them fight in the first place? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. If there's two people in a house and dogs fight, you got to do what's called the wheelbarrow method. And I've explained this in the past. So if two dogs are fighting at each other, I would come up, and there's two people in the house. I would come up behind my dog and lift his legs straight up in the air. You would come up behind your dog. You would lift his legs straight in the air. And once they're all the way up like this, then you can spin them and get them away. But that means there's got to be two people into the house. If there's one person in the house, you need something that's going to startle the heck out of them. Whether it's the pet corrector, people have used crazy things like a fire hydrant. They've used a vase full of vinegar or anything like that. But I got to put my dog in a position to not do that. I have to figure out, why are my dogs acting like this in the first place? Was there food around? Was there a bone around? I don't know. If there's food around, then I got to make some adjustments. But I also have to crate and rotate too. So if I feel like my dogs are too antsy, cool, I'll train one, put them in the kennel, train the other one, and we bring them both out and we train them together, because now they're in the training mindset. That's the big thing that you want to focus on, is getting them to do something productive together. The easiest thing to do productive together, go on a nice long walk with them every single day, come back, put one in the crate, train, rotate, continue. An old vet once told me, if two dogs ever get into a fight, you know what to do?
What?
Take your finger and jam it in the dog's asshole.
Ew.
I would never do it, but I'm just telling you what a vet told
awful.
me. Hey, that's what they said. What do you want me to do? Would you want me to not share the information that a veterinarian shared with me? That'd be a sin.
No. I mean, I guess if it's a really bad
do the wheelbarrow method.
Yeah, do
Come on now. Next question.
How do you get separation anxiety, whining to stop? I've exercised, trained, played with, taken for a walk, but the second she's in the crate and out of my sight, she starts whining again and won't stop. The second I walk nearby, she stops. As long as she can see me, she stops, but I can't correct anything when I'm not next to her, and the only time she whines is when I'm out of sight. She can't be by my side forever, so I'm trying to figure out how I can get her to stop whining when I'm not near her.
So this comes down to more reps and more consistency. So in shorter duration. On a weekend, your dog should be in the crate about 10 or 15 times. So I walk my dog, little walk, 20 minutes, put her in the crate, walk out of sight. She's going to whine. The second she stops whining for 10, 15 seconds, immediately walk back into the room, open up the door. We come out, super nonchalant. Don't praise the shit out of her, just super nonchalant. We do a training exercise, we do something, I put her back into the crate. If she starts to stand up, now this is why we practice that kennel exercise, which is like the place command, but I don't allow my dogs to stand or sit on place. And I would not allow this dog to stand or sit in the crate. I don't know if she's in a down, but most of the time when the dog is whining, when you're out of sight, they're like this, perked up. You want them in a down because they're going to get calmer while they're in that down. So practice doing that a lot. And once again, with a dog like this, instant gratification is going to kill everything. So if I open up a door and the dog runs out, if I put food down and the dog eats right away, I have to make this dog wait for everything across the spectrum. But more reps, more consistency, and just do shorter time, right? So just walk out of the room. As soon as your dog's calm for 10 seconds, walk right back in, open up the door. Even if it was only... Like I walked out, my dog whined for 30 seconds and stopped. Cool, I'll come back. That's that quickly, right? And it's going to take it's going to take some time for my dog to catch on to that, but that's how it's going to go. Next question.
Okay, I walk both my dogs at the same time.
Yes, ma'am.
One on either side of me. When I make an inside turn with Buckley, who is on the inside, he does a quick jolt outwards. Every time, let me start over. I walk both my dogs at the same time, one on either side of me. When I make an inside turn with Buckley, who is on the inside, he does a quick jolt outwards. Every time. Am I giving him too much slack on the lead or not enough when making inside turns?
That's interesting. I guess I think I understand what you're trying to say. So you're turning left, the dog's on the left. When I turn left, the dog jumps out. You might have kneed him one time and he kind of got startled. So make a wider turn. So instead of doing a quick turn, make it the whole length of the road. Start on the right side, come up, come all the way across, and then all the way down. And then every day come to, or every turn, I guess we should say, is come, an extra 6 inches tighter and tighter and tighter until we're super tight on those turns. But you're going to turn more like a Mack truck would versus instead of being on a pivot. Next question. You've
pretty much answered this earlier, but I'm just going to read it. How do I get my dog to stop biting and jumping?
Two things. It's not the same person. So two things. Number one is if your dog's doing both, it's a good sign your dog's bored and you're not doing enough with them, so get to work. But if your dog's jumping up when guests come over, practice the place command, use the leash, use a training collar, correct him every time he jumps, reward him every time he's in a sit. Next question.
Spence wants to know when he's allowed to get another dog.
Say that louder.
Spence wants to know when he's allowed to get another dog.
Okay, so one of my is like a family at this point. Spence wants to get a second dog, right? And I'm a huge advocate of like people are surprised when I tell people that you're not like they're like, hey, no, don't get another dog. Like I'll train it, but don't get another dog.
Don't do it.
People are like, dude, you need more. No. I don't need more business in that sense. I don't need you to get another dog so my business thrives. What I need you to do is perfect the dog that you have and make sure you have enough time to bring in a second dog. The reason I told him no is he just made a move.
Yeah.
Trying to get a new job. Schedules change. The whole nine gets crazy and it gets hard. So once you get your job and you're settled in with your brand new job and your house is already done and everything's good, then you get your new dog because I know how the time it takes. But remember, you need double the amount of time. People think, oh, they can keep each other company. No. I have 2 training sessions. Sometimes I have to do 2 walks every day. You know, there's so much that you need to do individually with a dog for it to be productive at the beginning. Like the person that asked about the inside turn, she has 2 dogs.
Yeah.
She walked her dogs individually for like the first month, and then they both caught on, and then I take them both. But that's a long time. That's 30 days where you have to do 2 40-minute walks.
Yeah.
Another thing,
get your exercise in though.
Dude, you're gonna get your steps in. So you get a dog, and so 2 more points off of this. A lot of people say, hey, I want to get my dog another dog. No, you don't. Your dog doesn't need another dog. He didn't tell you that. He has no idea. If you want a dog and you're ready for a dog, get a second dog. If the time permits, and I have the, you also have to think about the expense portion too. We forget how expensive dogs are. You got to set an X amount of dollars for food, training, veterinary appointments, etc. aside. Yeah. There's a lot of things to think about when you get a second dog. Side note, what were we just talking about? Go ahead. There's another point I want to bring up. I just can't remember. I lost my train of thought. Okay.
A daycare told us the pinch collar makes anxious dogs even more anxious. Thoughts?
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And not to be rude, but it's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So a daycare makes.
What does the pinch collar have to do with your dog being anxious
I'll
at
explain.
the daycare?
Well, nothing. Yeah, that's a good point. They're just saying it in general. They probably saw the dog walk in. So I own a daycare, right? And I do stress to this, and I probably shouldn't because we would make more money if we didn't. Like, you shouldn't bring your dog to my daycare 5 days a week. Yeah. It's just not healthy. Daycares inherently make your dog anxious. Why? Because all they do is run around the whole day. Now, our system, dogs have to be crated. They have to be put away. So for a certain period of time. Yeah, they have to. But at a daycare where they're running around like an idiot for 8 to 9 hours, they're learning to stay in that mindset of go, 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 go. That's the worst thing of all time. Remember, most dogs are anxious. Then you put a prong collar on and you're fixing the anxiety, but it's not the prong collar that made the dog anxious in the first place. Like that's does that make sense? Yeah. Now, the prong collar, if you put it on and you just start jerking your dog all over the place for no reason, like anything else, can be abused. You know what else can be abused? Food. I give it too much or at the wrong opportunity. My dog starts to stare at another dog and I give him a treat at the wrong time and I accidentally reinforce a little bit of lunging or fixation on the walk. That's a problem. But no, and here's one last note. Stay in your lane would probably be a good thing, right? So I'm not going to sit there and tell them how to. Then again, I would because we own one. But if a groomer, I would never tell a groomer how to cut hair. Right. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell a surgeon how to do surgery. Yeah, that's probably a good thing. But yeah, I had a really good session tonight. I'm going to branch off one more time. I had a really good session tonight with a family who's been in the rescue business a long time, who's been told how bad the prong collar is and whatnot their entire life. Yeah. And so we're talking, but they got a new 1-year-old rescue lab, beautiful dog, sweet energy, no rules and no structure, right? So he's just your typical lab, happy-go-lucky, boom, jumps into shit, jumps on the other dogs, humps everything that moves, jumps up on the table, right? He's all over the place. So great. Hey, the first thing we're going to start with is some leash skills. Right. So I say, hey, I'm going to show you, we're going to use a herm spring or prong collar. I've heard a lot. I said, I've heard a lot about him. That's good. It's good. Now, I'm going to put it on you first. No. Oh, yeah. I'm going to put it on you because you need to understand how it works. Right. I can't just put it on your dog and you don't understand what it's doing because you're either going to go too hard or too weak because you don't know how this thing actually feels. Right. If I had one right now, I would put it on me. I always put a prong collar on people so they can understand. Now, what it does do tremendously is it controls the top portion of the neck, and no collar should ever fit down low like this, because this is how you hurt a dog. They should fit up high so I can manually control the dog's neck, and it grabs fat skin, which is phenomenal. So I took the dog, we went out on a walk. The first thing I do when I put a prong collar on a dog, so she walked for 3 minutes with a harness. The harness was created for pulling wagons, carts, sleds, people. Dogs feel great pulling in a harness. It's never gonna change. When I go rollerblading, guess what I put? When I make Xena pull a sled, guess what I put on her?
Harness.
A harness! It's created for pulling! Put on! Now they make fancy ones that clip on the front, but it doesn't matter. So what I do is I put the prong collar on the lab. I take up 3 steps and I say heel, and I spin and go back the other way. I give him 6 feet of slack. He goes, he feels the tension lightly, and we turn around and he goes, oh, that's really strange. And he comes up, good boy. He followed the tension the exact same way that he should have. So I lightly guide that leash around. He goes, that's strange. Good. Okay, that's not bad. He sits down, boom, treat right away. He goes, okay, this isn't half bad. I say heel, I start walking, and I say heel again, and I turn. He goes, oh, I feel that thing again. Not bad. Sit. Good. Now the dog has a good association. As you do this 10 or 15 times, you can teach your dog exactly where you want him to go, and then I'll go the opposite way. Then I start my leash walk. In 5 minutes, I'll do more turns and change of direction and speed and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, it is the single greatest tool on the planet for dog training. There's no doubt about it. There's so many misconceptions. And people often ask of like, oh, I've seen dogs, they poke dogs, right? Or they're sharp. No, they're not. Now, you get a shitty one from China? Yeah. It sucks. Then again, if I get a dog brand food made in China, it's going to hurt my dog.
Yeah.
Right? It's not good. You don't want to get anything that's shitty quality. And that comes back to the expense portion that we just talked about. So if you're going to get one, you get a Hermspranger, because it's the only brand that is professional and through the best. There'll never be a better one. They're all rounded, nothing goes in, they all come back, and it equally spreads the weight throughout the correction. Or disperses the correction. So on a normal collar, when you pull back, you get all of the tension that it's always put down here on a normal collar. You get all of the tension put here. And then you hear dogs when they walk, right? The prong collar equally distributes the correction throughout the entirety of the neck. So it's a beautiful thing. It's all based off of how you use the thing. I can abuse a gentle leader, which are my least favorite tools on the planet. Next question.
Dalmatian is extremely picky eater. Tried multiple foods. Help.
All right, so, oh shit. I have 2 Dalmatian clients. They're absolutely tremendous people. I will actually send you, I'll send you their information because they would be glad to help. Their dogs also have, and I forget what Dalmatians are prone to. God bless it. It's some sort of enzyme or something. Crystals, I can't remember. But I know they had a hell of a time finding the right food, but they're both on the same food and they're both having tremendous success with it. So I'll just shoot you that information. Shoot me a DM after the show. Next question.
Where did you adopt your dogs from?
Thurman was picked up in West Virginia. Someone tied him to a stop sign in winter, probably because he was annoying, and I picked him up. So I drove down to West Virginia to pick him up at a shelter. And then Xena actually had a funny story. One of my clients was like, hey, there's someone, she's an 80-year-old lady who got a St. Bernard puppy because her husband passed, which is terrible, and her St. Bernard dog passed, so she got a new St. Bernard puppy. Listen, it happens. Right. I mean, we all do that stuff. We love dogs, and we need some sort of
companionship.
Yeah, you need that. Thank you. Good work. So we have that companionship. So someone said, hey, she's getting rid of her. I said, I'll go check her out and see if any of my clients. So I went over there. And I'm like, Jesus, this dog's, she was a mess. Jumping up, running all over the place. Jesus, this dog's sweet as pie, though. Sweetest dog on the planet. So like, hey, give me a day and I'll see what I can think of. So I went home. They gave the dog away to a different family before I could even make my mind up. Now, this family was drug addicts and whatnot. You could tell.
Right.
They took the dog. One day, they gave it back. Oh, he's aggressive. She's biting kids. I said, you bring that dog to me today. I want it today. He drove the dog back. Didn't even say bye to the dog or anything like that. Her name was Susie at the time, but my mother's name is Susan. So that wasn't going to cut the mustard. No. So she listened to Z really well. So I was like, all right, what's a Z word? Xena. So I just call her Z all the time. But Princess Xena. Next question.
You didn't say about trade.
I got him from a breeder. I didn't rescue him.
Okay. How can I get Scout to quit humping Mia and Maisie all the time? He's neutered.
Who's that? Oh, I know her, Kaylee. It's Kaylee. Drag leash in the house. So when he jumps up, what's the only way? Don't grab his collar. God bless it. So too many people are grabbing their dog's collar and yanking him off, right? That's a bad thing to do because sometimes they're so playful and exuberant that they do this. And they bite you in the arm. Not bad, but enough that I'm going to lose trust and respect with my dog. So I use a leash. Excuse me. He jumps up. Oh, no. Pull him off immediately. Quick and firm. If you have to, she uses a training collar and her dog heels to perfection. Put that training collar on, Scout. It has nothing to do with being neutered, by the way. Dogs hump for more than just mating. Next question.
Anthony's blooper video was hysterical. Love you, Ant. Other funny employee videos or stories?
Yeah, so I told this one on my Instagram story. I guess we should have cropped that one out. Andy, our secretary, one of the greatest people of all time, he was on the phone call with a client. So Andy's on the phone call with a client, right? His wife and his kids are in the house. And he's wrapping up the phone conversation. All right, perfect. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Love you. Bye. And hangs up. And he said his wife and his kids were dying. Just dying, losing their mind. I'm like, what's wrong? He goes, you told that lady you loved her. And he's like, no. Oh, yeah. So he called her back. And he
I was going to say, what do you do at that point?
Oh, you got to call her back.
So you leave it alone.
Listen, I'm so sorry I told you I love you. I think it's just out of habits. And she died because she was like, I've done that before too, blah, 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 blah. So that's a funny story. Andy, I hope you're watching. Next question.
Okay. I really like this question.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
One thing you want to accomplish in the dog training world you haven't yet.
I answered this one too.
Oh, man.
That's okay. So one thing I want to accomplish in the dog training world, I want to, A, be on TV, we talked about, right? But B, more importantly, when the time is right and I have enough time just to stick to training one of my own dogs, and I'm, like today I'm gone for 14 hours, right? 13. I want to get a working dog, right? So I'll get, whether it's a Dutch Shepherd or a Malinois, something like that, and I want to put them through IPO, what it used to be called shoot sound training, protection training, and I really want to get some titles for my dogs, but in good time. I think that will just take. You guys have to understand. Oh, dude, this is what I want to talk about: was working dogs and working breeds, right? So I saw my 4th or 5th, I can't remember, Malinois this year, which is crazy, right? The breed is getting. They're so cool looking, and they're the breed that's famous for killing terrorists, and they're just not a really. I mean, dogs like this are a terrible family dog. They're terrible, right? And people actually ask me, hey, should I get no? No, unless you're going to give this dog to a trainer for a year and they'll give it back to you fully trained, then no, I really don't. So that's how I would go about that. Next question.
Last question. Mm-hmm. How do I calm my dogs over...
By the way, I love Mouse. That's not anything that I don't love them. I just respect them too much to get one until I'm ready.
Facts. Okay. How do I calm my dogs over excitement over seeing my family members?
So family's coming over, the dog's getting overexcited?
That's what I would assume.
4 things, guys.
Or if you're going to your family's.
Either way, 4 things. If you're bringing somebody into your house, make sure that no one acknowledges your dog for 5 minutes. Make sure you walk your dog for 20 to 30 minutes before the guest gets there. Keep the leash on your dog and bring all of your guests to your kitchen table. Now, those 4 things will set you up with so much success. Why the kitchen table? Because now I can tuck myself in and I'm not going to stare at your dog. I sit on the couch, the dog is right in front of my face. It's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be too much. The dog sees me, the dog's allowed on the couch, he's going to jump up, he's going to lest my ear, he's going to get up, jump up on my shoulders, and it's a problem. I sit here until he's calmed down, then we can go do something else. Got it?
Got it.
Guys, I want to thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate those great, phenomenal questions. Tremendous, some would say.
We had some new questions.
Yeah, it was good. I like that a lot. You guys have a great day. Do me one favor, guys. Continue to work with your dog. Continue to train your dog and set the freaking time aside to do it one-on-one. Get off your phone. Get off your Facebook unless you're watching Next Question with Vinnie and Jenilee or one of my tremendous posts. And then also thank you guys for sharing and liking our posts. Subscribing to our YouTube channel. Come on, son. Once we get 1,000 viewers,
we can go live.
We're going to go live and do training sessions at the Doghouse live. So make sure you guys subscribe and share. Love you guys. Thank you. Good night.